Welcome, class, to another edition of the Golden Fundamentals, where today we are going to be talking about drifters. Drifters is the pinnacle of this book and this online training. Drifters are what you would call the enemy, right? We want to combat this misalignment between organizations and its employees. And we can do that. The way we do that is the Golden Fundamentals. The challenge, though, is that it gets complex with all the different notions of drifters, right? There are different types of drifters and different ways for you to build systems to address drifters, right? We'll talk about systems like the G3 programs, like champion models, feedback loops, training programs, ID management. We'll be talking about all these different programs to address drifters. But the challenge here is that we have to first understand, what are they? What the heck, right? Number one. And then, of course, number two, what are they? And we talk about how to spot them. That's going to be important. And then how to address, right? That's it. Just 3 points. And we call it a day. But remember, our goal is to inspire compliance professionals like you to make the employees around you better versions of themselves. So it's not just simply complying for the sake of complying, but it's to comply because you know it has a bigger impact on not only compliance, but on performance overall, right? And that's why we want you guys, and we've seen this, we want you guys to get on board, and we see all the compliance professionals get on board as well, and to see just tremendous impact on not only the quality of your life as a professional, but also the impact and fulfillment to address this issue of drifters. I should write that down. I don't even have it down. Drifters. That's what we're going to talk about today. Okay? So let's start with the first one. What are drifters? There was a study done that they said drifters cost organizations millions and even billions of dollars every year. What are they? They're employees that are misaligned with the organization. That's it, right? Employees that are misaligned with the organization. The challenge here is the question on misalignment. What is misalignment? What do you mean? Do you mean you want all employees to be like zombies? By the way, this is a Chinese zombie. You want employees to be like zombies, right? The answer is no, of course not. We actually favor disagreements. Well, we want different perspectives so that we can have different ways to address different problems, right? We don't want to solve the same problem, or all the problems with the same approach. We want different perspectives and disagreement. I want to write this down. Disagreement is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. In fact, it is a thing of beauty. And as a compliance professional, if you can convey that effectively so that they know that crystal clear, that we are not trying to go for agreement 100%. No, not at all. We are trying to go for alignment. Agreement and alignment is completely different. So what are drifters? Drifters are employees that are misaligned with the organization's purpose, values, and vision. Misalignment with those three, the golden fundamentals, right? And this is why we're going to talk about it. So that's what drifters are, and we know that they cost a lot of money because drifters are not as engaged, right? They don't feel as enthusiastic. That's why the term drifters, right? They're drifting. They get distracted, right? They look at other projects. They find opportunities for self-interest. They don't really care about the organization. And, studies show that if you care about the organization, you tend to perform better as a result, of course, because you tend to work with your blood, tear, and soul, right? To make sure the organization is cared for, right? You see this in the employees that treat the customers and their partners. They make decisions that are best for the long term, not short term decisions to pocket a couple cents, right? And then in addition to that, there's a lack of collaboration. Drifters don't want to really collaborate because they're short. They think of them at the organization as a short term thing. You'll commonly hear the phrase such as, "I'm here for the paycheck," right? That statement alone should be a gigantic red flag for any compliance professional and any organization owner or any supervisor, really, any organization. That should be a tremendous red flag when a person says, "I'm just here for the paycheck," right? Why? What does it mean? It means that if there is a bigger paycheck somewhere else, that employee is dashing out. That employee's out of there, right? That's not what you want to do. And an organization is a lot like a marriage. Sometimes you'll have a huge high, amazing. Sometimes you'll have a tremendous low, and that's where you need the purpose, value, and vision to align so they stay during the hard times, right? You want good employees to stay in that key word, what we're trying to accomplish. Trust, loyalty. Any organization owner see that and they said, yeah, I want that. I want that from the employees. Well, guess what? You got to build it foundationally, right? This doesn't come out of thin air. It doesn't work that way. And I've seen organizations who try to do this. This is the use of money, right? I'm like, here, let me pay you a big bonus. Trust us. That's not how it works. Purpose, values, and vision. Purpose, value, and vision. So we talked about what is a drifter. And when you talk about how to spot a drifter, how to spot them. There are 3 types. Very simple. Go straight forward to this. 3 types of drifters. We call one of them nada, right? Can you guys see that? Yeah, you guys can see that. Nada is, in Spanish, is nothing, right? Organization doesn't have any purpose, values, or vision, and an organization, a new employee come in and go, I don't know, what's the direction? They start to drift, right? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I know what the organization does. I know what I'm supposed to do, but there's no alignment. There's no clear values and vision and on how to behave, and there's nothing. So I start to drift, right? You see this a lot with like a new intern or a new employee, and they come in so enthusiastic, and it's such a tragic thing. And they're like so excited to make big impact for the organization. And then the enthusiasm drifts down and drifts down. And then later on, they get let go and they go, whoa, why? Why did they get let go? This employee is fantastic at a different culture, at a different organization. Why was this employee so not fantastic here? Well, nada, right? As an organization, we can easily blame the employee that drift, but as an organization, you failed, right? You failed. You had nothing. You had nothing, nada here. So the next one is, that's when you have no purpose, values, and vision. The next one is, it's preaching, right? And I don't mean in the religious way. I mean like when you have a CEO for, during a holiday party, they say, we believe in this, right? These are our values. But you don't practice what you preach, right? And employees go, they say they like teamwork. They don't support teamwork. They want to build silos, right? It's like, it makes me think of, I think the organization is called Thanos, right? Thanos. The one where that lady, Elizabeth Holmes, fraud a bunch of people, right? They created silos purposely, right? Intentionally. They may say teamwork is important, but they don't act like it. You got to practice what you preach. And so that CEO, when he says, we value teamwork and I want to thank you guys all so much, you got to make sure you build systems and supervisors that understand it and they enact it themselves. We don't see, when we see the lack of teamwork, if that is your values organization, then you got to spot it and say, hey, whoa. What are you guys doing here? We got to address this lack of teamwork that is going to hurt our organization for the long term because this is our value. This is what we're about, right? So we talk about preach. And then we talk about fracture, right? Misalignment. This is a big misalignment here. This one is a simple one, fracture. If my values is growth, right? And that is one of my personal values in addition to this online training course. If our values is growth and the organization creates systems and programs that doesn't allow me to grow. And when I say, hey, I think we should work on this project, it's going to give me an opportunity to advance my professional experience. At the same time, it's going to give an opportunity to grow the organization. And they go, you know what? No, we don't. Stop it. Stop what you're doing. Stick with what you're doing. Oh, I hear this a lot. Supervisor, stick with what you're doing. Stick what you're doing. That fracture, employees' values, organization value doesn't align. And then therefore there's a fracture, right? And so that happens a lot with employees that, they have a value of family. Family is so important to them, but then the organization creates programs that let you spend less time with family and something happens and you're like, I have an emergency. And they're like, no, we want you to stay, right? You see this misalignment, fracture, breaking up, right? And so this is why we talk about drifters, because it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal because it creates the seeds of big problems way down the line. If you study any of the consent orders from FTC, CFPB, the SEC, you see this fracture early in advance. And you go, oh, these are the seeds. These are the systemic issues. We're not talking about the symptoms, right? Symptoms are easy to address. Give a little big bonus. Let them be happy a little bit. Do a holiday party. Do an activity event. Do all these little things that adds up and they go, oh yeah, I feel happy for like the first couple hours. And then they go, you know what? I don't feel aligned still, right? That's not what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to achieve something bigger, which is predictably good behavior. And that's a lofty goal. That's not a goal that you just wake up one morning saying that I can achieve. That's something that has to be built upon, and that is built upon through addressing a systemic issue such as drifters. So we talk about what is a drifter. We talk about how to address them. The last question is how to address drifters. How do we address them? Well, we talked about trust and loyalty. I was going to say taste. We talked about trust and loyalty, and a simple answer to how to address it is the golden fundamentals, right? Have clear purpose, values, and vision. Communicate it on an almost daily basis to your employees, and create systems that revolve around them. Yes, it takes a lot of work, but what you'll notice is that it'll overlap with performance and compliance at the same time. You'll notice that employees will be compliant not because they have to, but because they want to. They want to because they know the benefits it has not only for themselves, but the organization. And this is why the work you do as a compliance professional is so important. Because if you can frame this, if you can address these issues early in advance, what you'll have is not just compliance professionals or just a compliance department that's performing at a high level. What you'll have is a central competency center that will be the knowledge source for employees to go to feel safe and to feel challenged and to feel better versions of themselves. That's what compliance, that's the next shift. That's the future of compliance, and that's what we talk about in Chapter 5, which is a shift to a central competency center where the first line of defense, where we operationalize the risk. We operationalize compliance so that first line of defense, the accountant, the salesperson, the marketers, they understand compliance enough so that they can take care of themselves. They self-regulate while you gather more context, gather more context so that you can feed them information that could help them not only in compliance, but in their day-to-day work. Thank you guys again so much, and we'll see you guys in the next section.